All right, got that student in. Now we got a couple students that are actually in the background during this video, okay? Now, when you're making the returning calls, make sure you're professional. Make sure you rehearse what you're going to talk about before you actually call. Make sure you have a pen and a piece of paper nearby so you can jot down notes. Anything that anybody asks you need to get back to, that is part of making a phone call. All right, now, somebody leaves you a message. It is your responsibility to get back in touch with them so you can actually make that call again. All right, if they leave you a message and a number, call them back. That is very good practice to make sure you return phone calls. Okay, now making cold calls, that means you just call and ask somebody something about the business that you're working for. When you do that, you need to be very professional as well. Make sure you know the subject that you're calling about. Make sure that you actually know what you're trying to call about. Okay, that's making cold calls, where you just dial a number, trying to get somebody to either buy something or get a service from you. Okay. Now, a conference call. If you ever have to be on a conference call, don't be intimidated. Conference calls are no big deal. It just means multiple people are involved. When you do a conference call with somebody, be respectful. All right. Make sure there's nothing in the background, because anything in the background, the noise, is amplified on a conference call. Okay, so don't have loud music going. If you're in a shop environment, try to go somewhere it's quiet so it will not be that loud. Okay, and then the one that we all hate, unsolicited calls. That is where somebody is calling you and you're not asking them to call you. We all know what I'm talking about. Call to extend your warranty, credit card fraud, all that kind of stuff that we get all these phone calls. I actually got one this morning. My new phone actually shows up potential spam when somebody calls me. Those are unsolicited. But if you're doing a cold call, you could actually be considered an unsolicited call. So just remember that. You need to be professional. As soon as somebody answers, you need to tell them who you are and what you're doing. Okay? Remember that. If you're calling for a business, trying to get somebody to buy something from you or to let your company do a service, you need to announce who you are, what company you're with, and what you're calling for immediately. Don't go into a long spiel without identifying yourself and identifying what company you're with. Okay? So again, we're talking about telephone conversations. So you will know how to use the phone as part of a business employability skill. Okay? Had a couple students that joined in. Today's lesson is about demonstrating employability skills required by business and industry. Today's topic was telephone conversations. The standard is actually AC-IC-1-1.1. And we talked about the barriers to phone conversations. Okay? Those are not knowing what you're talking about, bad cell service, noise in the background, loud environment that you're in. Okay? Making and returning calls. When you make a phone call, make sure you're very professional, speak clearly, have a knowledge about what you're actually calling about. And returning calls. Somebody actually leaves you a message for you to call them back. Call them back. That's the most important thing. Somebody took the time to call you. Now you make sure that you call them back. All right. Then making cold calls. That means you're calling somebody, trying to get them to use your company, do a service, or to sell them something. Or you're just calling from the business to let them know that you're welcome to the area, something like that. That's called a cold call. That means you don't actually know the person. You're just calling to establish a relationship. All right, conference calls. Remember, conference calls, all that means is there's multiple people on one phone call. Don't get intimidated by it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do a conference call. It sounds scary. It's not scary. It's basically just multiple people on a communication line where everybody can input their 2 cents worth. All right. Now, the one thing about a conference call, if there's loud noise or loud music in the background, it actually is intensified on the conference call because multiple people are hearing it and actually replays back. So make sure that you're in a quiet environment, no loud music. If you're in a shop environment, go to a quiet area. And then unsolicited calls, the ones that we all hate, the spam calls. But remember, when you're doing a cold call, you are considered an unsolicited call. So just always remember that. Make sure you know your topic. If somebody asks you a question, write it down. If you don't know the answer, and tell them you'll get back in touch with them. Don't lie to them. Definitely do not lie. Somebody on a phone call. All right, so again, my name is David Howard. I'm the construction trade teacher at Dade County High School. Today we talked about telephone conversations, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.